What's up, fight fans? Thank you, as always, for passing by the channel. Much appreciated. All right, so I've just got round to watching Canelo versus Rocky Fielding, and I think it's fair to say that was a demolition job. That was a demolition job from start to finish. I think we all kind of expected it to go that way. I expected it to go a couple more rounds, if I'm honest with you. I did say in my preview video that I expected it to be stopped with a body shot, and it was. Well, I expected Rocky Fielding to maybe get into the second half of the fight, maybe round 6 or 7. I think he could have if he decided to use his jab, but he decided to go out on his shield and almost stand toe-to-toe with the, I dare say, the stronger guy, which is crazy considering that Canelo, you know, 2-3 years ago was 154 pounds, but Canelo did look like the stronger guy. And I think him standing in the pocket with Canelo was just ridiculous, right? Was just ridiculous. And he was going to get chopped down, and eventually he did get chopped down. Canelo looks good at 168. Canelo looks good. I wouldn't rule Canelo out of staying at 168 for the next 2 or 3 fights, right? What he has now, he has options. He has options at both weights. And when I look at both weight classes, although 168 has the bigger, stronger guys, you think of Callum Smith, you think of Benavidez, you think of Gilberto Ramirez, they're all quite big guys. I look at 160 and these guys look more slick, better boxers. You know, when I think of Jacobs and Charlo and Andrade, Southpaw Andrade as well, I think they're better boxers. So I wouldn't rule him out of, you know, deciding to stay at 168 for a couple more fights and then deciding what to do. I think the problem that we have with Canelo right now is that he doesn't have to chase big fights. If he wants to, and I think he's the kind of person that wants big fights, he will get them. But because he's almost got this guaranteed money now with DAZN, he doesn't have to search for a big pay-per-view event, because obviously we're not on pay-per-view anymore. So fingers crossed, Canelo almost sticks to what he's been doing for the last 4 or 5 years and takes the big fights. What I did find strange was the title, right? Obviously, we know that he's fighting for the WBA regular super middleweight title. The actual main guy, the main champion, is Callum Smith. He got that belt off George Groves. But I was listening to a few interviews yesterday, and it's almost like they've missed out the regular part, right? It's now as though Canelo is the WBA super middleweight champion. And it's funny because someone asked me the other day, Ade, what do you think about the potential of the IBO becoming a more serious belt, like people giving the IBO more recognition? And I've always said I don't think it's about the belt, it's about the person that holds the belt. And it's almost like people that don't know now assume that Canelo is a WBA super middleweight champion of the world, like the middleweight champion. Sorry, the super middleweight champion, and not Callum Smith. But what it does do, I guess, it puts him high up in the rankings with the WBA now. And look, they'll happily make that fight with him and Callum Smith. I don't think that fight's gonna happen next, but they'll happily do it. For Rocky Fielding, look, he's not going to be too disheartened. I think he got a 7-figure paycheck. He got his dream, which was to fight a big name, Madison Square Garden. So I think everyone goes home happy. DAZN will be happy. Their new $300 man ticked all the boxes, got the job done, looked impressive. And I guess it's on to the next one for him. The next one is Cinco de Mayo. And look, I hope it's a big one, right? Danny Jacobs was ringside. That's the fight I want to see. Hopefully, that's the fight that is made. There is talk about Gennady Golovkin. Gennady Golovkin at 168 makes sense, but there is a big rumor that Golovkin is going to sign with Al Heyman and PBC. So if that happens, then that fight's not going to happen. But those are my 2 preferred options: Danny Jacobs at 160 or Golovkin at 168. I think Golovkin at 168 could be a bit better than at 160. I think he's starting to look gaunt at 160. So I think 168 for him is a bit better. I think it's a tough ask for GGG to beat that Canelo at 168, but it gives him a chance to earn some good money. And I think it's a weight class that he should be fighting at, especially this late into his career. What is interesting, though, is this. Gilberto Ramirez, the WBO super middleweight champion, fought recently. I think he fought a couple of days ago. He fights for Top Rank. And he said, look, this is probably his last fight at 168, that he wants to go to 175 and fight the guy that fought Adonis Stevenson recently, Godzik. So that leaves open a WBO super middleweight belt. I've not looked at the rankings in terms of what everyone is in the WBO, but I wouldn't rule out Canelo or GGG fighting for that vacant belt very soon. But guys, what do you think of the performance from Canelo? I think it was punch perfect. Should he stay at 168? He looked good there. Or should he go back down to 160 and fight the likes of Charlo, Andrade, Jacobs? I guess for Canelo, it's all about options. He has more options than anyone else right now at middle and super middleweight. And it's going to be very, very interesting to see who he fights in Cinco de Mayo.